Hi everybody and welcome to another crafting session with Danielle. Today's craft is going to be this lovely basket. I'm going to be doing some more weaving if you've been watching my other videos. These baskets are quite handy. You can put your craft supplies in them and then you can find them whenever you want them because they're in the little basket. Okay, so things you'll need. Today's items are a piece of card, a piece of paper, a ruler, a pencil, scissors and glue. If you haven't got glue you can use tape, but for today I will be using glue. So that's all you need. Let's get started. So before making the actual box, we're going to get our ribbon ready to go. So the paper that's in the middle I'm going to call the ribbon, and what we're going to do for that is we're going to mark up an A4 sheet. Now this is A4, it's longer that way and the short side is down towards me. Okay, we're going to get our ruler and we're going to mark all the way across the sheet of paper. Just going to make sure it's nice and square so that I can see what I'm doing. Put the 0 at the edge of the paper and then mark every centimetre on your sheet. Okay, so all the way along, mark every centimetre. On a piece of paper it's 20 centimetres that you actually mark. You don't need to do the last one, but do remember that this one is bigger than a whole centimetre because there's a little bit at the end. And then we do the same at the top. Just pull it down towards yourself. Place your ruler on. Start from the 0 and then mark every centimetre along the sheet. You will do that all the way to 20. I'm just going to show you what the next part is. What we do then is we get our dots and we draw from the top dot to the bottom dot a line, and we do that all the way across the piece of paper. When you've done that you'll get something that looks like this, a sheet of paper with a load of lines on it. Excitement of lines. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to one end of your sheet of paper and you're going to fold 1 centimetre on top of the other. We'll put a little crease there. Okay. Now I use the line as my mark. So the line is on the outside, there's nothing on the inside. So I can see where my line is for folding. Okay. And then we're going to cut the double at the end there. We're going to cut that all the way along till we get to the other side. When you've cut that out, you'll have something that looks like this, a folded piece of paper. Now because your line when you folded it is on the outside, you just use that line and fold it the other way so that your lines are on the inside and it's all nice and clean on the outside. And because of the size of box that I've made, you're going to need 2 of these. So 2 of them. Okay, so we're just going to put them to the side while we make the box. These are important because these are the binding that goes over the top to create a nice edge at the top of your project. This is the card to make the box. We use card because it's stronger and sturdier than paper. Paper isn't as strong and sturdy as the card. Now you'll notice that this is a bit of used card. That's okay because I only need a square to make a box, which is good. So we're going to measure where it's actually cut, and you'll notice that it's bigger than the 21. It actually is almost 22 because it's 21.6. So it is actually bigger than I need, because what we know is that the short side is slightly over 21 by 2 millimeters. Okay, so that's all we need when we come this way. We just need that extra 2 millimeters. So I'm going to bring that just 2 millimeters out, and I'm just going to mark the 0, and I'm going to do the same at the top. So again, just 2 millimeters out and give it a little dot. And then you know what I do with my dots? We join the dots, dot to dot. So you're just going to mark a line down, dot to dot. Okay. Now, again, I kind of ignore the little bit at the edge, and what we do is we count in, and I'm going to count to the number 6. So on this side it's easy, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to put a little mark. On this side it's a bit harder, so ignore the little bit at the end. 21, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we end at the 15, and again I put a little dot there, so it's 6 and 15. And then I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to do the same this way. So line up, and I'm going to go to the number 6. Remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to go to the number 15. Okay. Now, where your first dot is on the piece of paper, which mine is here, I'm just going to do 6 and 15 again, and then I'm going to draw a line. And where this dot is, which is the 15 from when we turned the other way, we're going to do the same. We're going to put the ruler at that point. And then we're going to do the, oh, I've lost my dot. These things happen. Find the dot, dot to dot. And it's a 6 and a 15, and we draw the line through the dot. And then to make our beautiful square, this is going to be the base, we join our dots this way. Don't worry if you go a little bit over the edges, because when we cut it out, it'll all work. Okay, so now you have a square in the centre of your paper. There we go. It's a little bit off. Let's see if I can get you to see that square. There we go, look at that. Nice square in the centre of your paper. Now to do the struts, so that's the bits in between, these red bits that go up. To do those struts, we need to mark out our struts. So one strut has to go on the corner. So I'm going to do there and there. That's 1 centimetre. That's how wide my strut's going to be. Then I'm going to leave 1 centimetre and half a centimetre, and I'm going to do another centimetre strut. So I leave 1 and a half, and I do another strut, 1 and a half, and I do another strut. And you'll notice that there's a little bit at the end there, and that's where our next strut starts. So we turn, and we do everything I've just done again. So from the main line, 1 centimetre, 1 and a half, put your little dot at the half, and make a full centimetre. Then you go 1 and a half, and you make another centimetre, 1 and a half, and you do another centimetre. And we do that all the way around the box. So to mark out our struts, we just create lines. Okay, so to do these lines, use your dots that you've put on. Make sure they're nice and straight. It's actually easier sometimes if I show you with the board. So if I line up the paper with the board, and then you make a nice straight line. You'll notice that I've already done the other part of the box, the struts. And once you're happy with your struts, you need an extra little bit. Now, I don't really make this huge, make it a few millimeters, and I just put this little bit at the top, and I'll show you why in a moment. Now the one on the corner needs a little extra bit on the edge, like so. So I've done the whole thing. Now what's going to be cut out is the corner is going to be cut out, and then the 1.5 centimeters between every strut is going to be cut out. So if I just start by showing you at least one side. So I shall start by cutting out the corner that I've scribbled on. Just let me catch that little tab there. So remember to leave your little tabs. Now the next tab is this one here. So what we do is we cut straight down the struts like so. And then we cut just into the tab, making sure not to go all the way across, just up to the line. Make sure I've got up to that line there, and then cut the bottom bit as well. Ooh, I've not quite got that corner, let's just nip that a bit. So we cut straight down this part here, and then we go straight up that tab there. So it looks like a little foot. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around the box, remembering that the tab will always go the same way. So the next tab will go in exactly the same direction as the last one. And again, just cutting up that line, get rid of that tab. Okay, so they're all going to face that way on mine. Yeah, all going to face that way. Yours could go the other way, depends where you put your corners. So when we've cut it out, this is what it looks like. And these little feet need to be less than 1 centimetre in the width, because if you remember, this is what your binding is going to go around. So you don't want it peeping out below your binding, so you need it to be less than 1 centimetre, so that when you do your binding, it's not hanging out everywhere. Okay, so first things first, before we put the binding on, we're going to fold them all up. Now you've got your line, so all you do is fold against the line, I've done the other sides already, just to make it a little bit quicker. And then we're going to start putting the binding on. We're going to add our binding. Now to do this, you're going to need to pick up your sides. The one on the corner is going to need to fold around the edge so that it can hold onto there. So you just bend it, check your corner, and then that one will wrap around. So we're going to need to put our binding on, and to do that we need to glue it. So get plenty of glue, lots of glue, lots of glue. And I'm going to start at this corner where it's already folded around. Oops. And I start by squeezing that along the line. So there is a line already on my binding from where I marked them out, and I just follow that line while I am squeezing the paper onto there, and then I'm just going to fold that over. And then I'm going to continue around the corner. Now, when you get to the corner, just take it around nice and gentle. Again, line up anything with that line, that center line, and fold it over. And normally, if you've got some lights, you can actually see the tabs through the paper so that you can line them up with each other. And just fold the paper over the tabs, like so, giving it a little squeeze as you go around. So again, fold that corner around, place the tab inside, give it a little squeeze, and keep going till you get to the end. Now you'll notice that this finishes here, which is why we have a second one. All we're going to do, let me get to the end of this one, I'm just going to put a bit more glue on it so that we can get to the end of this one. So all we're going to do when we get to the end of one, didn't put enough glue on there. So once you've got to the end, make sure to glue your next one as well. Lots and lots and lots of glue. Lots and lots and lots of glue. And then take that and overlap the last one you did. And then remember to bend that tab and stick the next one on it. And again, move along, sticking, using the light behind to stick those tabs on there. Perfect. And then once you get to the very end, make sure this one doesn't want to go on the line, and make sure it's all lined up, and you fold it around. Find a place where you're comfortable and snip it off, and then just bend it over and glue down, checking those corners as you go, giving it a nice squeeze. And if you need more glue later, you can put some more on. Sometimes the glue comes adrift. You can always add more later. You just pick it up and place a little bit of glue under. And that is your base. And it's nice and strong. And it's better to do this at the beginning because it makes the weaving so much easier. So once you are happy with your top, you might want to play with it for a bit until you are perfectly happy. I can play for a while, so I will. Once you're happy with your base, you need your ribbon. So this time, instead of cutting 2 lines, you just cut a single line. Okay, so 1 single line all the way to the end. And I wouldn't do the whole piece of paper. If you want to do the whole piece of paper, feel free. But I need about 6 lines, maybe 8. Depends on how tightly or how they overlap or anything. So cut off about 6 to 8 lines. Okay, once we've got our paper ribbon, you want to start on an in. So some of these are going to be ins and some of these are going to be outs. So when you start, try and make your corners an out. So this one here will be an in because this is directly on the corner. So I want that to be an out. So the next one is going to be an in. So I'm going to put some glue on the edge of my ribbon. And I'm going to stick that inside what I hope is going to be an in. Yeah. And then the next one is an out. So we thread it through. It goes out. And then the next one is an in. So you're already in and you just thread it through. Give it a little tug. Don't pull it off, but give it a little tug so it's nice and straight. And then the corner is an out. And then we go in and out, and in and out, and just tuck it down to the bottom, in and out, and in and out. So you'll notice that this is not going to get to the end of our box. So what I do now, before I go any further, is I get another piece of my lovely paper ribbon and I'm going to stick a little bit of glue on the end and I'm going to attach it to the last one like so, and then I'm going to go out around the corner, in on the next one, out and in. And then remember just to tuck it down to the bottom, and remember just to give it an extra pull because every now and again it goes a little bit loose, and that's fine because if you were weaving with wool or anything that can come quite loose. And then you know where your in is, you need to snip, so I'll just bring it so you can see it. So you're going to need to snip somewhere on the red so that you can hide it. And you're going to put a little bit of glue on there, on the end of this part of the ribbon, like so. And you're going to stick it on the inside where you started. There we go. That's how we weave. So this time, I'm not going to start with my short one. I'm going to get another long piece. We will be using that short one in a moment. But this time, we're going to start the in behind and over. So I'm going to start it at the corner this time. So I just need some glue on the end of that paper ribbon there. And then I need to stick it on the inside. Like so, and we're going to do exactly the same. So this time this one's an out and the next one's an in, and then it's an out and then it's an in. And when you get to the corner, remember, just give it a little tug so that you pull all that ribbon through. And then we go on out, and an in, and an out, and an in. Oh gosh, it's never ending. And an out, and an in. And again, when you get to that piece at the end, now I'm going to take my short ribbon and I'm going to attach it. I'm going to attach it to the other one, and then I'm going to continue with my ins and my outs. If you lose where you're up to, just look back, see what you were doing, and continue on. And then once you get to the end, you do exactly what you did before. You measure it, snip it, glue it. So measure where you're up to, snip it across, get some glue, and stick it on the inside. This just hides your edges, and we're going to do that for the rest of the box.